It's over, man. It's gone. There were so many more masks I wanted to get. Why? No. They took him from us. He's gone. He's gone, man. He's gone. Hello everybody, Mr. Lego Lover 55 here, and today we're talking about Bionicle masks. Now, despite my Ninjago obsession, I'm actually a pretty big Bionicle fan, believe it or not. Now, I got into Bionicle around 2006, well after what many fans would consider Bionicle's golden age of 2001 to 2003. Something these earlier years had done, which I felt many other years were lacking, was the focus on masks, or Kanohi, having a much more impressive lineup compared to other years. Because of that, I've always wanted to immerse myself more in collecting masks I only ever heard of, but never actually owned as a child. Lately, however, Bionicle masks have been skyrocketing in price on the aftermarket. Like, take this Golly mask for example. You know, pretty standard mask, came in those old mask packs back in 2001. Same as, say, this $13 one? Bit of a high price, but I mean, that means this one can't be much higher.
What do you mean $70?
I really can't justify spending this much on a singular mask. And that's coming from someone who was considering buying a baby Ninjago dragon for 1K. Seriously, I was genuinely considering coughing up the dough for that thing. Literally thinking through every timeline where I bought the stupid bugger and the things I needed to do in order to afford it. So you see, my options are either turn to customs, or pull another Ninjago crate. Before we begin, I'd like to emphasize that it isn't my intention to put anyone down when comparing people's customs. Every mask I'm showcasing today is great in its own right and shouldn't be looked down upon simply because someone else does it better. No one sets out to make a bad product, and I feel like that's something people often need reminding of, especially in this day and age. I'm also not sponsored to promote any of these sellers, so everything I say here are my true and honest thoughts. Although if any of the sellers are listening, I wouldn't mind a little email showing up in my inbox, just saying. Now, custom Bionicle masks have been around for quite a while and evolved quite significantly throughout the years. From kit-bashed amalgamations, to paint jobs, to 3D prints, there's a lot of different masks out there, and my hope is to touch on a few dozen I've come across throughout the years as some nice alternatives to official parts. Some of the first custom masks I managed to get my hands on are these 3D printed ones by Cyberhand. Now, back in 2016, when Generation 2 initially ended, we never ended up getting official pieces for the Mask of Ultimate Power, nor the upper half of the Mask of Time, which was a massive shame considering their importance to the story. Thankfully, Bionicle fans have done incredible work and given us a chance to own and utilize these masks in our own custom creations and collections. The same goes for Zhokker's Mask of Ultimate Power variant. I picked this one up recently, and I gotta say, wish I picked it up sooner. It's lightweight and has these Okoten runes, which is a nice touch. It generally just feels like a piece LEGO themselves would design were it in an official set, and I think that's due to the intricacies of how the inside is structured. Of course, the type of plastic isn't the same, but it still works, though the printing layers kinda scuff up the runes a bit. I purchased these off of Shapeways, which sadly is no longer with us. He's gone, man! Generally, it's always very nice that fans are able to create masks that LEGO themselves never managed to officially get on store shelves. And something just as cool are fans creating masks that were on store shelves, but in new and exciting colors. Now, I had the pleasure of attending Brickfair 2023 in Chantilly, Virginia. It was a very fun time, went with some other Bionicle fans, and made a whole vlog on it that you can check out right now. But while I was there, I actually managed to pick up a backlog of customs I had been ordering from the one and only Socketball, known for his custom resin-cast Bionicle masks. And if anyone's a reviving Bionicle fan, he's actually the one who produced the parts for Golly's doppelganger sockets. The type of plastic plastic used for these Mata masks is actually not the same one LEGO uses. It's more akin to the soft plastic kind they used for, say, the Toa Metru masks or Axon's Road, albeit slightly harder. I took a glimpse into the resin casting process to get an idea of how something like this is made, and genuinely, all things considered, I'm really impressed with how near flawless these are. There's a bit of roughness on the inside of some masks, but the exteriors are basically one-to-one, which I feel is what's most important. Like I mentioned before, custom masks are a great way to get masks that never existed. However, it's also a great way to get masks that do exist without having to sell your kidney. Like, oh my god, man, I know this cow is a misprint, but $200? Yeah, I'll take the Socketball version. Thanks. It's technically not the same color. The original is more neon, but I'd say it's close enough to meet the same needs. Now, back at Brickfair, I managed to get a taste of more custom masks like these. When we were setting up our mocks at the Bionicle table, someone was selling what I presume are painted resin prints. While I think some of these are cool in concept, like this copper how, sadly, some of them suffer from some slight distortion, making them seem a bit off compared to their official counterpart. Additionally, this movie Mask of Time ended up breaking after I attempted to remove it off a Metru head because the axle connection was too tight. Haven't had any problems with this blue one though, so you win some and lose some, I guess. Red Star Games also happened to have a booth at the convention that year, which is where I picked up this noble Elda. It's an unaltered resin print of Bionica's mask with a dark blue and glow-in-the-dark paint job. Currently, I use this on a mock I call Sal, who uses a bunch of other glow-in-the-dark elements since his character revolves around him being this sort of attention seeker. I basically associate this mask entirely with him now, so it's nice how custom masks like this still manage to inspire new creations. Brickfair also introduced me to the products of Ziontryo custom wares. My friends introduced him to me as the guy selling bootleg Bionicle, so I was immediately skeptical. While bootlegs are a nice way to get new, interesting parts in various colors we never got, oftentimes the quality simply isn't on par with that of official Bionicle parts. From weird glossiness to loose and tight connections, it's something I've never opted to delve into. However, bro just had large Ziploc bags full of masks, and upon seeing that, it's just kinda hard to say no, you know? So I'm like, hey, we'll try it for the funsies, you know, when in Rome. What happens at Brickfair stays at Brickfair. It did not stay at Brickfair. Now, Ziontryo sells a lot of interesting bootleg stuff, from these black CCBS connectors to trans-clear hand connectors to glow-in-the-dark bow rock eyes. However, the highlight of his inventory has to be his injection-molded Fire Spitter and Croc masks. While some stuff are from bootleg sets like these G2 masks, absolutely love this mask of creation by the way, masks like the How and Krakan are actually injection molded, which is the same process LEGO themselves uses to create elements. The Hows, for all intents and purposes, are perfect. Comparing one to an official variant, the two are nearly identical. The only flaw I can point out is this injection point at the top of the mask, and in most cases, it's barely noticeable. The Krakans, sadly, are a bit less perfect. In terms of looks, they're fine, but it's their functionality, I'd say, that really bugs me. The axle connection is a little too tight, making it a bit of a hassle to place and remove it from Mata heads, Metru heads, and pretty much any axle-compatible piece. That being said, these two masks get some nice color variety, coming in all sorts of colors, with these ones being my favorite. And yes, that is indeed a pearl gold Krakan. You too can own a $600 to $800 mask for a little less than $3. Additionally, Ziontryo has some nice paint jobs, from metallic coats to iridescent covers, chrome finishes, and sometimes both. They're absolutely glorious. Right now, the How and Krakan are the only injection molded masks available, but according to his Instagram, it seems he's looking into making some new mask molds. That Ignica is something I really look forward to getting. I have no idea when these are coming out, but I'm incredibly excited for whenever they do. Ziontryo easily has some of the most affordable stuff out there right now, and it's simultaneously insane just how on par the quality is with Legos. So to wrap things up, we're in the midst of a custom mask renaissance, with new sellers always popping up and older ones continuing to perfect their craft, getting better and better at what they do, leaving us with a nice, wide array of options to choose from. In general, Bionicle fans are doing some absolutely phenomenal work, and I'm ecstatic to see what they'll do next for the world of custom masks. Again, I'm not sponsored or anything, but if you have any interest at all in what I've shown here today, do be sure to check out all the sellers I've mentioned. I'll have links to all their sites in the description, save for the ones on Shapeways, cause, well, you know. Now, I do actually have some more sellers in mind to cover, however, I'm still waiting on a few orders before I can properly do so. So, I don't know, if you want to see another part to this video, consider sharing it or leaving a thumbs up. And hey, there's still more sellers out there doing some pretty amazing stuff, so if there's anyone you'd like to see me cover in a future video, let me know in the comments. As for now, that's about all I've got, so I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and keep building. Also, happy Bionicle Day, if I manage to finish this video before then.